Got it. Yep. Hey, everybody. Let me make sure y'all mute yourself real quick, but absolutely unmute yourself at any time if you want to chat. Help with the noise. JP, or it says JP. Well, I can mute you like that. There you go. Nope, can't. Can you mute yourself? It says JP in the corner of your screen. You have a red sweater on. What's her name?
Jessica.
It's Jessica. Can you? There you go. You're good. Okay, so let's get started. I really want you guys to type in some questions, but let's cover a couple of announcements to make sure you guys are all on the same page, because there's always so much going on. So make sure that we are all in the clear. There just came another email out that has the lineup for the convention speakers. Super excited. Mel Robbins is going to be one of the speakers. She's fantastic. If you don't know much about her, she's got a YouTube video called The 5-Second Rule. It's also a book, but I've posted on the team page a couple of times, and it talks about how there's actual science that if you retrain your brain, instead of to make yourself do something, if you count down like a rocket, if you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it like makes your brain do it. Anyways, it's a really cool video. She's a great speaker. I'm excited about her. I'm excited about Bob Heilig. He spoke in Hawaii to us last year, and it was so many people. So make sure you guys mute yourself. There was so many people. Yeah, the person on the phone needs to mute themselves. Okay. There was so many people's best speaker that they've ever had, and you guys are really going to love him. Bob Heilig is really into viewing your business as a ministry. He is really into how you can serve and love on others in order to be successful. And so I just really love his message. I love what he's about, and I love that if you're not in his legacy training, I think it just closed, but it opens up every couple of months. And it was only like $53. And I think that is a great price. It was cheaper than Rachel Hollis's business coaching, and it's way more professional. It has tons of videos, but tons of handouts to go with the videos, and like different sections. Like there's an Instagram session, Facebook session, one on leadership, one on how to increase your influence, along those lines. So it's super great. I highly, highly, highly encourage being a part of that. And the Dough app. Raise your hand if you are using the Dough app. People are obsessed with this because it takes the thinking out, saves you tons of time, and makes it a very simple system for you to reach out and follow up. So make sure you and your teams are utilizing that. Next announcement, don't forget the rest of this month, there's free shipping on $1.99 packs. So you want to make sure your people know that, and you want to make sure that you know for anybody who is commission qualified this month, so they either have a welcome pack if they're new, or they have 100 PV this month and have a subscription order turned on. It can be whatever you want. It can be conditional, unconditional, whatever. It just has to be turned on. Then you're going to get 6 free enrollment codes. There we go. Okay, so there were some people that were like waiting to sign people up until next month. I wouldn't do that, because if they sign up this month, they will also get 6 free codes, and you can help them get to silver. Okay, or you can help them, if they don't use all their codes, they are transferable, so you can give them to somebody else. So make sure that your teams are utilizing those. If people have codes they're not using, well, first of all, use them. Try your hardest to use them, but I know there's going to be some wholesalers that really that may use one, or so utilize them. Put it on your team page. Who else needs a code? What can we do? So that is really, really, really awesome. So those are going to be free signups for $1.99 packs next. Okay, so diving into this week, I want you guys to type me any questions, because if not, we are going to do a little bit of an exercise. So get a pen and paper out. And I want you to leave a spot. You're going to write a sentence, and then you're going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're going to do that 3 times. So leave a spot for a sentence, and I want you to label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leave another spot for a sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And do it one more time. Do that 3 times. Okay. I'm just going to kind of teach you guys something that I have been learning lately, which I as a double diamond and senior ruby leg, I am still learning. Like, it is not ever something that we ever, still learning about myself. I'm still learning about leadership. I'm still learning about leading a team. I'm still learning about network marketing. I'm still learning about, so lately I've really been learning about our subconscious, our mind, like what we have believed our whole life, and we are not even aware of that is what we are thinking or why we are thinking that way. That is just what we have always done. And so I have done a lot of work lately with my life coach and with some podcasts and books I've been reading on scarcity mindset, because that was still ingrained in me. Okay, with over a diamond's average paycheck, I still was like, oh, I need to hoard it. What if it all goes away? Okay, that was how I was living my life. I was still living it in fear, and I was still living it from a place of scarcity, as if I have to hoard this, I have to protect this, or it will go away, instead of being open to, oh my goodness, let's give more of it away. There's an infinite possibility of how much more can come in. Let's let these resources flow through me, instead of being like, ugh. So, okay. So I'm going to let you guys in on some things that I have been learning. Honestly, this book has helped me tremendously. I don't know. Every book that like kicks my brain into a different gear usually has a lot of cussing in it. So I apologize for that. Like, I was telling my friend, I'm like, I need to be like the Christian person that can kick people into the perspective and not have to drop the F-bomb. But anyways, this book is called How to Be a Badass at Making Money. And it's a green cover. And I'm going to give you a little preface. She sometimes refers to things as the universe, allowing the universe. I read that and I change that word to God. So I'm just telling you how I interpret that book, because I think when you read some things, you got to take the good and spit out the bad. So I believe that this is dealing with your subconscious and dealing with God. So if you're reading this and be like, why did Jessica recommend this? I'm letting you know that is how I take in this book and how it has helped me tremendously. Anyways, one of the very first chapters talks about, just basically, I was feeling guilty for making money. And if this is where any of you guys are, we have got to get to the bottom of this. If you think that money is wrong or bad, or you feel guilty for making more or wanting more, those are very real emotions, very strong emotions. Those are strongholds for a lot of, especially as being as Christian women, there's lots of mixed messages. I make more money than my husband. That's a mix, that's not typical for, having your husband provide for your family. And So there's a lot of work that I had to go through. But Preston Pugmire, as you guys know, is my life coach. And I listen to his podcast often. And a couple weeks ago, he told the story. So he was speaking he does like motivational speaking sometimes. And so he was at this engagement, and then afterwards someone comes up to him, because in his bio, Preston says that when he first launched his podcast, it was number 1. Did I tell you guys this story before? Stop me if I'm. It was number 1 in personal growth and development. And so that's kind of a tagline. It's got it on his Instagram. It's in his bio when he's announced as a speaker or whatever. And so this guy comes up to him and he's like, dude, you were number 1 on the podcast? And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, how did you do it? And I talked about this in a live video I did a couple weeks ago on the team page. And Preston kind of could tell, like was kind of feeling the guy out, and he could tell he had some intuition about it. So he said, well, let me ask you this. Before I tell you how I did it, let me ask you this. Oh, did I lose you?
We can hear you.
That's weird. I lost you on the screen. Okay, you're back. We're good? Okay. And he said, before I tell you how I did it, he said, do you think that you could have a #1 podcast? And the guy was like, dude, no, I can never do that. And then he was like, well, then there's no point in telling you how to get there if you don't believe that you can. And that was just like, this is what my team believes. Like, people come to me all the time. They're like, what's the steps to get to Diamond? How do I get to Diamond? And we do stuff all the time about do your IPAs, post on Facebook, do all these things, but we're telling this to a brick wall of people who don't even believe they'll ever be successful in the first place. And so we just keep telling them to-dos, or you listening to this call right now may be thinking, I just keep doing these to-dos. I just keep doing these things on the checklist to do, and nothing is happening. Like, I'm not becoming successful. I'm not being able to help more people. My paycheck is not increasing. And it's because you're just keep trying to do the to-dos, and you don't believe that you can be successful in the first place. And so if you don't believe you can, then the steps don't matter. We have to start with that. So many of us ingrained in us, or we believe that we're not going to be successful. Okay, we believe it in the back of our head. We believe, yeah, Diamond is for those type of people. I'll never be Diamond. So guess what? You're never going to allow that to happen in your life, or allow you to do the scary things, or allow you to change, because you don't believe you can in the first place. So a lot of this subconscious thinking and talking and believing has to do with being in alignment. Tony Robbins says, you will fight tooth and nail to align ourselves with our identity. Okay, this will make more sense when I explain it in a minute. We will fight tooth and nail to align ourselves with our identity. And what I mean by that is, what is your identity? Do you believe that you're a loser? Then you are going to line up your life to sit on the couch all day and never do anything scary, because that's your core belief. So your subconscious is going to align that, because that's what it believes about you. If your core belief about yourself is that you are successful, if that is what you truly believe that you can and will do, then your body will fight tooth and nail to align yourself with that belief, because you believe it in your core. Does that make sense? Is this making some sense? Okay, I'm going to have you guys do this exercise that I am going to explain some more. So I had you 2, 3, 4. Did I have you do that 3 times? I'm actually going to have you do that 4 times. So write one more spot with a sentence and then number 1 through 10. In this book, How to Be a Badass at Making Money, she's helping you retrain your brain. And so this is an exercise I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on, but then I really want you won't have enough time to finish it completely, so I want you to take a couple minutes after the call and really finish this. Now, this may not be a problem for you, like scarcity mindset may not be a problem for you, but it is, I would guess, for upper 80% of most people in network marketing. And so I want to make sure we were getting to the subconscious and the root and allowing this to come. For me, this was manifesting itself in that I make a great income. So I was like, what do I need? Like, it felt weird. It felt selfish, guilty, icky for me to want even more than what I had. But I was being closed off to it, because I was like, I'm already able to do good things. Here's a funny little story, but I was really been praying about what to do with our income and the Lord to show me what that even looks like for me not feel good, for me to not feel guilty about wanting even more and the good that I can do with that. And so this is such a silly example, but this is a way that God used to open my mind. Okay, so before we went to Israel, we were with a special trip, and one of the persons is on the board of directors for the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. And so we got to go and have a special tour before it was open. And like the director of it came the night before, and we had a meal with him, and he explained the Museum of the Bible. It's amazing. And if you actually go through and read everything, it will take you 72 hours. And we only had 3 hours. And so they gave us a tour guide who took us through a couple. So if you ever go, message me and I'll tell you, like, he told us the key thing. If you only have a couple of hours, like the best things to go and see in it. Anyways, in the folder we opened up, he gave us some information about the Museum of the Bible, and I opened it up and it showed donors. Like it had a wall of donors of anybody who had donated $50,000 or more. And I immediately was like, oh, what if we were in a position where we could just write $50,000 checks? Like, the world needs that. Organizations need that. We are able to write hundreds and thousands of dollar checks to help different organizations. We do that every month, but I've never written a $50,000 check to anything before, something that was worthy of it, who needed it, who for me to be able to give and do wasn't a burden for me. And it just opened up my mind to how wanting even more than what I may make a year is good and okay and needed. And so to me, that just was a silly, it's not silly, but it was an example of don't limit myself, and I want to encourage you guys to not limit yourself on the good that you can do. And so we've got to get over our head trash and our subconscious thinking about money. Okay, so first on your 1 through 10 list, the first sentence I want you guys to write, I want you to make a list of 10 things, and what they are about is a list of beautiful things that has happened in this world thanks to money. Okay, I'm going to tell you the 4 categories and just let you guys spend a little bit of time on it. But in this, so the first one is any beautiful thing that's happened in this world, there's no rules to this, that has happened because thanks to money, because money made that beautiful thing possible. Okay, the second category, and then I want you to list 10 things. So then the next category is going to be a list of all the awesome things and experiences money would add to your life. And I want you to write 10 things. I'll type these out on the side when I give you guys some time to think about it. So if you don't have it all the way written down, that's okay. Okay, the third category I want you guys to make a list of is make a list of how being rich will benefit others. And you can exchange the word rich for just abundance, whatever you want to say, but make a list of how you being rich will benefit others. And then the fourth category is, it needs to be muted here. I am grateful to money because. So I'll type those out. I'm going to give you guys probably like 5 minutes, and I want you to start doing this. I want you to start making these lists. I want you to start retraining your brain, looking at the positives and the good around money. Okay, I'll type these in while you guys have a few minutes. I want you guys to be creative. This can be big or small. I want some of these things to be for you, some of these things to be about others. Don't have them all be about other people. I want you, what's some awesome, fun things you can do with money? Okay, we're planning a freaking awesome vacation to Alaska, and it is not going to be cheap. And I'm excited about it. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready to add a fifth category, and the fifth category is a list of all the reasons you deserve money. Okay, I'm gonna give you just one more minute. Okay, I want you guys to pause this activity, but I really, really, really want you to finish this before you go to bed tonight. And if you have the Start Today journal, the Rachel Hall Start Today journal, have that be one of the 10 dreams that you write down each day. What I did was I wrote what my annual income was last year, and I multiplied it by 12. I started allowing my brain to think that what if I make what I made in a year every month? Because you have to start allowing it, like allowing your mind to even think that, to even think it, then to believe it, then to visualize it. Like your subconscious is big. And so you really, if you have some time to journal, like journal what that will look like, what type of house you will live in, what type of freedom you will have. Like this is an exercise that I did that helped me to hire a personal assistant, because I still was like feeling weird and gross about hiring an assistant until I visualized, no, this is exactly what I want. This is what I need. I want to allow this to be possible and the income to be there for that to be possible. So this can help me be with my kids more. Like for me, I was hiring an assistant so I could be with my kids more. So they could do other things that I hated to do, such as clean my toilets and cook dinner, while I could be with my kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. I provide a job for somebody who needs a job. They love it. And it's such a blessing to them. There's a lady who comes and cleans my house. She's a family friend. She's like in her 60s, and she cleans houses a couple days a week. That is her source of income. She depends on that from me. And then we have an assistant who helps with Plexus things and helps cook dinner sometimes. And she's a college student. And she tells me all the time how grateful she is, because this is the best, most flexible job a college student could ever have. Because if she has something come up, I'm like, okay, it's okay. You know, like she can't even tell McDonald's, oh, well, can I not come into work today? I've got something else going on. No. Other jobs aren't flexible and accommodating and pay as much as we do compared to other jobs. And so it's a blessing and a gift. And so I had to retrain my mind to stop thinking that money was bad, that really I had to stop worrying about what other people were going to think about me, because that was the big root of it. That was the big root of, because I have friends at church that can't afford to hire a personal assistant, or, they can't afford to go on a date night, but I can. And so I had to get over, you just have to keep putting yourself with like-minded people. You have to seek them out. Seek other people. They say you are the sum of the 5 people you spend your most time with. And so you need to be making sure that at least 3 of those 5 are better than you, are working on themselves, are growing, so that you can learn and grow from them as well. So there's another quote from that book. She says, our realities are make-believe. And what she means by make-believe is whatever you make ourselves believe, we experience. So our realities are make-believe. Whatever we make ourselves believe, that is what we will experience. So whatever you believe about yourself, or whatever you believe about money, that is what you will experience in life. When it comes to forming and transforming our human experience, the power of the mind reigns supreme over any type of external truth. So no matter what anybody else says or believes, our brain is going to trump everything else. And so if you believe money is evil, or if you believe money is difficult to make, then your bank account will have tumbleweeds blowing through it, because that's what you believe. Even the fact that you believe that this has to be really, really, really hard in order to make more money or in order to get a jewel, your brain will make it hard, because that's what you believe. I've started to start to tell my brain, this comes easy. This comes easy, because that's what I'm going to believe. There was another book. He says this quote every single day. And so I've started to write this every single day. I even set an alarm on my phone that goes off every day at 10 a.m. and it has these words come up. And it is, I expand in abundance, success, and love as I inspire others to do the same. I increase in abundance, success, and love as I inspire others to do the same. And just repeating that or writing that every day is allowing myself to believe it and allowing myself to inspire others to believe it with me. So if you believe money is evil, or if you believe money is difficult, then you're not going to have much. It's the law of attraction. It is the law of what you believe, what your subconscious believes and allows. And it's so powerful. I just keep learning more and more and more about our subconscious. And you guys, we have got to be so careful about what we say and what we speak. Like, even as little, like I'm becoming so much more aware of what I speak. Even little things, like I had this friend, she tells a story that her mom used to always say, that gets on my nerves. That gets on my nerves. She would always say that. And then she started to have nerve damage and nerve pain. Like she was like manifesting that because she kept saying it all the time. So we have to be careful. Like even what we're saying to our children, like, you are so wild. You are such, you are so crazy. And they're going to start being that way, or that's all we're going to see in them because that's all we are focusing on. Like this is even as simple as we have a pool in our backyard and, don't run around the pool, right? But even when you say, kids, don't run, don't run, don't run, the word that you are emphasizing is run. That's all the kids are hearing. And so even a simple switch from kids walk around the pool. So instead of saying don't run, I'm saying kids walk around the pool. The word that they are hearing over and over and over again is walk, the thing that they should be doing and the thing that I want them to be doing. So our words are so powerful in what we believe and what our subconscious believes and what other people are going to believe about themselves. So, there is just a little brief overview.
Real quick, Jessica, on that, you should look up, I was listening to Dr. Caroline Leaf. Have you heard of her? She was talking about how quantum physics scientifically proves how your thoughts can alter what happens. Like, it's nuts.
Yes. And like my husband, again, let me preface this again, because my husband gets a little bit suspicious because, again, everything can be distorted. So some people take this and make it very new age and, like it's like a weird thing. And don't make it a weird thing. It is just allowing it, expecting it, believing it, being open to the possibilities of it. And that's just the power of positivity. That's the power of gratitude. It's the power of what you focus on expands. Because I've been in seasons where all I could think about, talk about, see was the bad things that were happening in my life, the stress, the how much our remodel was costing, how me and my husband weren't getting along, how this and this was going bad, and and that was all I was talking about. That's all I was focusing on. So that's all that kept happening. Like, it literally is when you start being thankful or intentionally looking for positive, good things, you will find them. You will find what you're looking for. You always find what you are looking for. You always do. Today, I had lunch with a good friend, and she had this breakthrough. We were talking a lot about this subconscious, and she had a breakthrough because she's overweight, and she was subconsciously in her head, she was like, I'll never be a diamond if I'm overweight. And she had this breakthrough that she can today. We shedded light on that truth, that lie, and she was like, I don't have to be skinny to be a diamond. I don't have to be skinny to be a diamond. And she started crying because this was so subconsciously ingrained in her and holding her back from being successful, because she associated with she had to be skinny in order to be a diamond. And that's not true. And so I didn't even say this to her, but last year at convention, Erin, what's her name? The lady who spoke on behalf of the diamonds isn't skinny. And she couldn't even remember that. She couldn't even remember that because all she could remember what she was focusing on, and all she was focusing on was some of the skinny diamonds, and she couldn't see anybody else, and she thought she had to be that certain way because that's all she was focusing on. Does that make sense? And so she couldn't even see the truth. She couldn't even see the reality because all she was seeing was how she was tearing herself apart and thinking that she wasn't good enough. So, man, y'all, what we focus on expands. Okay, I'm going to go to some questions you guys have asked. Unless anybody else has, or let me stop. Like, what is this whole discussion bringing up in you? I would love for somebody to share. Thoughts on money, thoughts on subconscious, thoughts on what you believe.
I'll say for myself, the whole thing really rings true. But, I've done so much work and grown so far, but I am buttoned right up into those beliefs and that scarcity mindset, not just with money, but with my time, with my attention, with my everything. And you can't grow beyond those beliefs. So they've got to change. You've got to shift it or you'll just batter yourself to pieces. And that's pretty much where I think I've kind of gotten stuck in. It's like, just how far are you going to keep battling those until you let them go and let them be different?
Right. And you hit it on the head too. Like, scarcity doesn't just have to be money. It can be time. If we keep thinking, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for that, you are creating scarcity with your time. Even also, like, he kind of journaled out some questions each day, but one of the questions is, what could I say no thank you to today that would serve me? And so when I first saw that, I was thinking about all the things I could say. No, I can't go volunteer at school today, or no, I can't go do this today. But then he said, that can also mean, what can you say no thank you to the way you're thinking? Like, no thank you. I'm not going to think today that I'm not good enough. Like, I'm going to say no thank you to the belief that I'm not good enough today. That's the same thing as saying no thank you to I don't know, going to pick flowers with somebody. I don't know. That can also be the way that you think about things. Thank you for sharing. Who else? What's the stirring or bringing up or bringing awareness to for you?
I was just telling my husband tonight, like, he's like, we were just talking about my business and how he can support me more. And I'm like, babe, honestly, when it comes down to it, it's my thoughts. It's my head trash. It's just, it doesn't, all these other excuses or reasons or things that I, you know, it's not those things. And yeah, it's my head trash that gets me tripped up. So I know that. And I think it's just, we have to renew our minds. And back to the thing that I said about quantum physics, this is super cool. We could, like, you know, maybe I'll post like a link or something, but I think it all belonged to Jesus first, right? I mean, he taught us to renew our minds. He taught us to what we sow will reap. I mean, these are his principles, you know, and so I think we don't need to be so scared of them. I think they're helpful. So I'm really curious to dive into these ideas of, you know, how I'm talking to myself. And but yeah, I think that yeah. So as an Enneagram 1, I think sometimes my challenge is, you know, the perfectionism thing. And I tend to see maybe what's not right more often. So I need to definitely shift my thinking more toward the positive.
Yes. And it's so what you focus on expands. Like there was even a season, like when I'm transparent about this all the time because really everybody has this in their marriage, but like there's a season where me and Rob were just like burr, burr, burr. And one of the exercises my coach had me do, and he said write 25 things, or he had me write 5 things a day that I liked about Rob, because what that did was it changed my focus, because all I was saying was, I don't like this drives me crazy, and I would say this if he was in the room. And this could be with any relationship, because what you focus on expands. And so it was just a part of retraining my brain to focus on the good things. And so maybe you're stuck in your business. Maybe you hate Plexus. Okay. Then what you can do is write 5 things a day that is good about Plexus, or is a blessing about it, or good things. What you focus on expands. And it is so a renewing of your mind daily. And that is why, like, even myself, I will get in ruts. If I'm finding that I'm being really negative or really critical or just whatever, if I will step back for a minute and think about, when's the last time I was feeding my mind with something positive? When's the last time I was reading a book or listening to some training videos? Like, when I am in that negative mindset, it's been a while. It is directly correlated. And when you said that, I just kind of had this light bulb moment, because it's so hard to like teach that how important personal growth is for somebody that isn't. Like just recently, in the Slide Edge, it talks about what was the percentage? Something like only 10% of the people actually grasp the importance of personal growth and do it. And for the other 90%, they just don't. It's not a priority to them, or it's not important to them, or they don't see the value in it. But when you were talking just now, I just had this like light bulb moment that really what sets people apart, and really honestly the hardest work in network marketing, I would say, isn't reaching out to people. It would be your limiting beliefs. Overcoming limiting beliefs is probably the hardest part of network marketing. Or any successful person, probably, because so many of us have just ingrained so many lies that we believe about ourselves since we were kids. We're not good. And almost all of them, if you get to the root of why you believe that, it'll go down to, I'm not good enough. You know, whether if you're battling the way you look, the way you feel, the way you act, the way you lead, how you do or don't exercise, whatever. The root of it is you believe that you're not good enough. And so person taught this thing where he would go through everything he was having like resistance to, because your subconscious, he describes it as like your subconscious is this adorable little security guard, is the way that he worded it. And so your subconscious, your adorable little security guard is going to do everything it possibly can to keep you from feeling hurt, to keep you from pain or from feeling bad. And so if you ever start to do something where you think that you're not good enough at, your subconscious is going to try to stop you from doing that, because you have believed your whole life you're not good enough to do that. And so it doesn't want you to feel not good enough. So it'll just have you avoid doing that thing so you don't have to have that feeling. But when you shed light to it and you're like, wait a second, I am good enough, back off. Cute little subconscious, that's really cute that you're trying to help me, but that's not the truth. And so we have to renew our mind over and over and over again. And just the concept of sowing and reaping is so good as a biblical reference to what this kind of is. Sowing positivity and reaping positivity. And see that somebody had a question here. Okay, somebody asked, what was that YouTube video that I mentioned earlier? And I think if you just look up Mel Robbins 5-second rule, it'll come up. It's like a 20-minute video, and I think it sometimes says the best motivational speaker video there is, or something like that. I can post the link. Someone also said, how do you freshen up social media following, and what we need to know about how do you always say this word wrong? Logarithms? Is that how you say it right? I always say it wrong. Algorithms. Okay, side note, even that is something I keep feeding my brain. Like something I used to always say is, oh, that makes me feel so stupid. Or, oh, I don't know that answer. That makes me feel stupid. And I was subconsciously, I thought that I was stupid because I would always feel embarrassed or dumb when I didn't know the answer. And I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. I didn't know. I'm so stupid. Or I'm not smart. I'm not smart. I'm not smart. Like that was ingraining in my brain. My subconscious believed that I wasn't smart. And so I wouldn't try to do certain things because I didn't think I was smart enough to them. Okay, how do you prevent, so your question was, Carly, how to prevent some people always seeing our posts or no one seeing them? Okay, a logarithm, whatever that word is, it is always changing. But like I told you, I joined Bob Heilig's training, and he's got so much good advice on this always. But his big thing is right before you make a post or right before you do a live video, which you need to do live videos. Carly, you have something to say about that? He says, go and engage with people before you do it. So if you are commenting, messaging, engaging with people on Facebook before you post or before you do a live video, they're going to be more likely to get that notification or get that in their news feed. So an easy way that I've done that is you can make a separate friends list on Facebook. I think it's just called lists or friends lists. It's easier to do when you're on your laptop. And I have there's about 100 people that I've talked to before or I'm about to talk to soon that I want to get this Plexus thing. And so I can change it to where I only see them in my news feed. And so I think that's really smart to do at least once a day, because it's easy for us to be flooded with other Plexus sidelines. But this gets that about 100 people. I'm only seeing their news feed for me to intentionally scroll through that, like and comment and engage with those people to make sure, because those are the people I really want to be engaging with, because they'll see my posts. So that's a great way to get engagement. And your second part of your homework is do a live video this week. Do a live video. Do something to add value. It doesn't have to be about Plexus. I did a video yesterday. Go look at what my video was on my personal page, and it was something to add value. And let me tell you this is so the gauge, okay? Everything you post on your Facebook wall, or what I use as a gauge, is, does this add value? Does this add value? Plain and simple. And how I gauge value is kind of like, is this educating somebody? Is this inspiring somebody? or just making somebody laugh? Because those are three big areas that add value to me, I think. And so just use that as a gauge. And so some people may say, well, I don't know what to post to inspire somebody. That to me is a red flag. That what are you doing to be inspired yourself? Okay, because all these quotes I post on my page are from something I have read or listened to. That's where I'm getting that inspiration. That's where I am getting that value add was added to me. And so I, in turn, want to add that value to other people. And so if you're feeling dry or feeling like, oh, I don't have anything positive to say, it's almost always because you're not soaking in or bringing anything that's adding value or positivity to your life, because then it will reflect. But yeah, I did a video. It wasn't about Plexus. Go check it out. And it's super engaging. Another big thing Bob teaches is to engage with people immediately after they comment on your stuff. So if somebody comments on your live video or comments on your posts, it helps your engagement if you immediately type back and keep that conversation and engagement going. So kind of maybe utilize that. So know after you post something that make sure that you're around your phone for a couple minutes afterwards to make sure you can engage with people for the next 10 minutes. And anybody who posts on there always engage, but for sure the people who do it immediately. Somebody said, will the free enrollment codes for next month be transferable? Yes, they will. So make sure that you guys, everybody on your team, whether they're working the business or not, make sure you're kind of helping them out with making sure they have a subscription order turned on. Make sure they understand that it can be conditional or unconditional. And to remind you what those mean, conditional means it will not ship out if you already have 100 PV. And so I have mine turned on, mine never ships, because I always go in before then and figure out what I need for that month and just manually order it. But I have it on for purposes like this. So. Are they good for Canada as well? Yes. Also, don't forget we are opening up Australia. I believe it's April 1st. Correct me if I'm wrong. So put out some Australia feelers if you're on social media, letting people know or asking if they have connections to people in Australia. That's super cool. Is there any other questions or thoughts about anything else tonight? I really want to encourage you. I know a lot of you guys can't watch this live, so if you're watching the recording or you're watching it live, thanks for being on, making that commitment. But I know sometimes Plexus can be overwhelming, but guess what? It's only overwhelming because you subconsciously believe that it's overwhelming. There is absolutely ways to do this business and be successful and keep your sanity, because it's what you focus on and how you prioritize your life. But let me narrow it down to this. Plexus helped me, or Preston helped me with this. There's 5 million things you can't be doing. And it's so easy to feel guilty or not good enough if you're not doing all the things, or you're not going as fast as you think you should, or what as your neighbor is, or whatever. If you do something to move, he calls it move the needle. Just do something that will move the needle in the right direction every day. If you think about on your car, the accelerator thing, it goes like this, the needle. As you go faster, it goes like this. If you're just doing something to move the needle, okay? You don't have to do 500 things to move a needle a day, but if you are doing something to move the needle, I saw this graphic, I think I posted it the other day, that it says, if you just improve by 1% every day, if you just intentionally improve by 1% every day in a year, you will have improved by 365%. You're going to be a totally way more awesomer person. Okay? So just move the needle. Just keep moving the needle. And if there comes a day when you don't move the needle, guess what? Don't quit and give up because you had a couple days where you didn't move the needle. Get up tomorrow morning, move the needle. It's a choice. It's all a choice. And it all starts in your subconscious, y'all. So be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you put in your brain. Be careful what you think. Be careful what you say. I'm really proud of you guys. I'm really, really, really proud of you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys at convention. Go get ordered for convention. There's only, they said only 2,500 seats available. They just put left. And so those are going to snatch up. I think they're saving a couple hundred that they'll open up maybe in April or May for anybody who's like new, that, you know, they join in April or May to still give them the possibility to be able to come. But for all you guys, make sure you get yours ordered because you for sure don't want it to sell out. But also, all of your new business builders, never assume, okay? That's a big thing in this business. They say, what does assume mean? It makes an ass out of you and me. That's what it spells, assume, okay? And so never assume anything out of anybody because we are going to be so quick to assume people don't want this, or we're going to be so quick to assume people don't want to go to convention. Give them that choice. Give them that invite. Give them that opportunity. And going back to subconscious, if you believe Plexus is too expensive or nobody's going to want to join you or nobody wants to work the business, that is what you will attract. You will attract what you believe. So type out in the comments something that stood out to you tonight. Something from this call, a one-liner, a takeaway, something you're going to remember. I want everybody to type something in the comments right now. What's your takeaway from tonight? What hit home to you tonight? Type it in there. I want to see them. If you're on your phone, you can still type it in there on the chat. Because I am so over learning, and not implementing. Learn doesn't do nothing if we are not taking a nugget, if we are not incorporating something, if we're not remembering something that we've learned, putting something we've learned into practice. Okay, so somebody said, limiting beliefs are my biggest drawback. You are not alone in that. You'll fight tooth and nail to align with what you truly believe about yourself. What you truly believe about yourself. You will make that happen. I am good enough. Yes, this is good. Even if I'm moving the needle a little bit, that means I'm moving in the right direction. Yes, I am deserving. Yes, I can be a diamond. Yes. What am I going to say no thank you to today? Yes. I need to stop telling myself I'm not good enough. Yes. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I can do it. I'm kind of like screenshot these. You know what? I wish that they would keep the chat on the recording, but when you watch the recording, you can't see the chat, which stinks. Anybody know how I can change that? Anyways, time's up, my friends. Proud of you. Let's pick a date for our next call, shall we? I forgot to do that before we got on here with you. Let's do the 25th.
I can do it too.
Somebody went off. So let's say March 25th. Call. And at any and all times, I love actually suggestions on what to talk about on these calls. Because I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about, what's relevant to you guys. So shoot me any suggestions. I am organized enough. That is so good. My whole life, my mom was cluttered. My house has always been just a mess. And I'm like, that's because that's what I believe. Like when I've really KonMari'd my house this time, it's sticking because I believe that I can be organized. And my life does not have to be a hot mess. And now that I believe it, it's coming true. I am a good leader. Stick that on a sticky note. Put it where you see it every day, friend. I am a good leader. That's what I did with my Lexus. I printed out a big one on my fridge and a little one and taped it in my console of my Toyota 4Runner. And I saw it every day. Me and Rob finally did a vision board. It's something that we talk about all the time, but we actually did one. And I see it every day, and it reminds me there's power in what you allow yourself to think and believe. Man. Okay. Have a fabulous end of the month. The month is not over. You guys still have multiple days for February. Let me know if I can do anything else for you guys between calls. Get this recording to people who couldn't be on tonight. I think it's super helpful and powerful call. And you're amazing. Believe it. Go make some money and do good with it.
Okay, I'm leaving now.